A very good morning to my dear children. Today is the second class after your vacation for mathematics. In the previous lesson, we had discussed about the introductory part of your chapter data handling. Hope you all have understood the methods and the concepts that will be used in solving the problems related to data handling. As you people know that this data handling topic is directly related to your daily life, and actually in your senior classes you will be studying the same topic in the form of statistics, and statistics is qualitatively and quantitatively analysis of this data. So as I told you in the previous lesson that after learning all the concepts, we are going to start the exercises given in your NCERT textbook. So let us begin. And myself, let me give you my introduction. Myself, Bharti Mishra, TGT Maths from Kendriya Vidyalaya number 3, Sagar. So students, before I start the lesson, please be ready with your textbook and your notebooks, because if you will have your textbook, you will get the questions and properly, and you will be understanding the methods also, and I'll be teaching you each and every step how to solve the problems related to the three topics we had discussed. Number 1, histogram, number 2, pie chart, and number 3, probability. In today's lesson, we will be having the questions of exercise 5.1 and one question of exercise 5.2. So let us start. The first question: for which of these would you use a histogram to show the data? The number of letters for different areas in a postman's bag, the height of competitors in an athletic meet, the number of cassettes produced by 5 companies, and the number of passengers boarding trains from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at a station, and you have to give reasons. So children, as previously I have told you the difference between a histogram and a bar graph. See, when you are using bar graph, we will have the names of that objects or the items used in one line. That is, we will be having the graph in the form of a horizontal and a vertical form. So if you are having the numbers on the horizontal line, then we will have the frequency, that is the number of times that particular event or the item is repeated on the vertical line. Whereas in histogram, you will be requiring the range also for the horizontal lines, that is the class limits. So when you look at these four options in this, in the B part and the D part, in case of the data given in alternative, that is in B and D, we will use histogram, as we can divide the given data in class intervals. In case of alternatives A and C, we do not know about the number of letters of different areas and the number of cassettes produced by the given companies. We do not have any approximate idea about it. Therefore, we cannot define class intervals for this data, and thus we will not use a histogram. Hope students, you have understood the difference between a histogram and a bar graph. So in continuation, let us start the second question. Now this type of questions you have been doing in class 6th also. So here we have the shopkeeper who come to a departmental store are marked as man for M, woman for W, boy for B, or girl for G. The following list gives the shoppers who came during the first hour in the morning. So what you will do, you have to prepare a frequency distribution table using tally marks. Now you have to draw a bar graph to illustrate it. So what you will do is, you will make tallies, and I told you previously also, tallies is a group of 5 which will help you in counting the number entered below. So there can be two methods. One is one by one. For example, we will make 4 columns, that is, see in this way: shopper, tally marks and number, 3 columns as vertical lines, and in horizontal line we will have 4 columns, that is 4 rows, 3 columns and 4 rows. 4 rows are: 1 for W, that is woman, M for man, B for boys and G for girls. So one by one you will consider the entries from the observation table, from the question given. For example, in this question we have got W. One method is count all the W's and make the tallies, but in that case if you miss any number, then you have to repeat the whole process again. So what you will do is, you will take W, cross it here and enter it here as one line. So one by one, whatever thing you are getting, W, M, B or G, you will keep on drawing lines, and after 4 lines are drawn, for the 5th line you will put a cross, so that will show that one tally is complete. So in this way, on marking and calculating all, we get, see there are 1, 2, 3, 4 tallies in W column, and there are 3 extra ones. Sorry, there are 5 tallies. So 5 5s are 25, and 25 plus 3 comes to be 28. Now when you are considering M row, in M, that is the men's row, there are 3 tallies of 5. So that comes to be 3 5s are 15. Now when you are considering the row of boys, it is 1 tally. So 1 into 5 comes to be 5. Now for G, that is girls, you have got 2 tallies, that is 2 5s are 10, and 10 plus 2 comes to be 12. I think so you have understood the method. One by one you will put the entries. First you will make the columns, then one by one you will enter lines, and each after 4th line, the 5th one will be a cross to make a tally, then the 6th line will be drawn. Do it with very patiently, otherwise making a mistake will create problem. You have to repeat the whole process again. So coming to the next question, before that we have to draw the bar graph. So here, on the basis of the observation table given, we have here 4 options, that is women, men, boys and girls, and the entries are 28, 15, 5 and 12. Now we will do this on a graph paper. So on a graph paper, deciding the scale is up to you. On the basis of the size of the graph paper you are going to use. So we will have, in the vertical line you have the number of shoppers, and in the horizontal line you have the names of the persons, that is woman, men, boy and girl. Now you see how the arrow we have made here. Below we have written shoppers, and in the horizontal line, then put an arrow towards the right, then in the vertical line we have written number of shoppers and the arrow placed in the upward direction. The first entry for women was 28. So till 25 and plus 3 comes to be 28. Similarly for next one we have got 15. For man we have got 15. So the height of this column is 15. Then for boys it is 5. So you can see we can use different colors, or you can use different symbols also inside the bars. So here we don't have the range in the horizontal line. That's why it is a bar graph. I think so you have understood the whole method of drawing a frequency table, and on the basis of the frequency table we have drawn this bar graph. Coming to the next question, we have got the weekly wages in rupees of 30 workers in a factory. Now the entries are there. Now using the tally marks, make a frequency table. Now see here, we have got the intervals. Intervals are 800 to 810, 810 to 820 we have to consider, difference of 10, that will be the width of each class interval. Class intervals are the groups on the basis of the range. Range means the difference between the highest and the lowest observation present in the given question. At the end of the lesson, children, I'll be telling you some important definitions also. So please note it down, and even if you miss something, this video will be present on the YouTube channel of KVSRO class 8. So you can go through the video again. You can pause the video and understand the steps which you had missed. So now let us see what is the minimum observation given. So on observing, we find the minimum observation given here is 804, that is 804, and the maximum one is, I think so, it is 898. Now we will be making a class intervals of 8 to 810 as given in the question, and put the entries, form the tallies and count. So the total number of workers are 30. So when you will count all, it should end at 30. So now look here. So we have got the three columns: interval, tally marks and frequency. First one is from 800 to 810 and it is ending till here, that is 890. So you will mark the tallies and enter one by one. Now coming to the next one, we have got draw a histogram for the frequency table made for the data in question number 3 and answer the following questions. See, first of all we have to make a histogram, and on the basis of that we will answer the questions. So here is the histogram present. The histogram, now look here, the very important thing I want to make it clear is we have in the horizontal line the wages. Now wages from 800 till 900, we are having difference of class intervals each at 10, 800, 810, 820, 830, 840 and so on till 900. So here between 0 and 800 there is a difference of 800, rest the difference is 10. So we will use the concept of broken line here. Now in the vertical, the numbers given here are from 1 to 10. So here are the number of workers, and according to the frequency table in the previous question, we will mark and form the histogram. Now let us answer some questions on viewing this histogram. The first one is 830 to 840 is the group of workers which has got maximum number of workers. See, the highest one is in the histogram, the highest bar is of the range 830 to 840. Next they have asked the workers who earn more than rupees 850 are the workers, number of workers who fall in the group of 850 to 860, that is 1, 860 to 870, that is 3, 870 to 880, that comes to be 1, and again 880 to 890, that comes to be 4, and in total we have got 10. The number of workers are 10 whose wages are above 850. Now next question we have to answer: how many workers earn less than rupees 850? So here again in the same way you will count all the frequencies given before 850. So that will end at, you'll write the frequencies and add them, that comes to be 20. Now coming to the next question, that is question number 5. The number of hours for which students of a particular class watch television during holidays is shown through the given graph. Now here children, we are going to have a graph. Till now in the previous one we had questions as well as we had to form on the basis of the observation given, first frequency table, then histogram or bar graph as asked in the question. And in this question we will be having a bar graph and we are going to just study it. So how many hours did the maximum number of students watch TV? How many students watch TV for less than 4 hours? And how many students spent more than 5 hours in watching the TV? Now here is the histogram given. The histogram shows in the vertical line the number of students, and in the horizontal line we have hours of TV watched per day. And see at the top of each bar we have written what is the height of each bar given in this histogram. So let us answer the question on the basis of the bar. The first answer: from the graph it can be observed that the maximum number of students, that is 32, watch TV for 4 to 5 hours. See here, 32 is the tallest bar given here, and this lies between 4 to 5. Hence, for 4 to 5 hours is the maximum range where the maximum number of students are watching TV. Now the next question is: the students who watch TV for less than 4 hours are the students who watch TV 1 to 2 hours or 2 to 3 hours or 3 to 4 hours. Now looking at the graph, what we have for less than this, it is 3 to 4 hours 22 students, 1 to 3 hours, so 1 to 2 hours 4 students, 2 to 3 hours 8 students. You will add all these, that is 4, 8 and 22, which results as 34. I think so you are understanding, student. You have to see the observations, or you can say the graph given, histogram or the bar graph given, and then answer the questions. This is the methods. Now next is: the students who watch TV for more than 5 hours are the students who watch, see, more than 5 hours will be 5 to 6 and 6 to 7. Now when you look at the graph, 5 to 6, how many students watch TV? 8 students. 6 to 7, 6 students. Now 8 plus 6 comes to be 14. So children, I think so you have understood how to draw a bar graph, a histogram, by forming a frequency table. Then on the basis of the graph given, you have to write the answers of the questions provided. So this is a very simple and a very scoring topic. Hope you people enjoyed and learned this exercise. Now let us start the next exercise. The next exercise is based on circular graph or pie graph. Today we are going to just consider one question, and rest of the questions I will be discussing tomorrow. here in the first question we have, see, understand it very clearly, very sincerely, gradually. I'm going to take this question so that the coming questions can be understood more easily. The first question is, a survey was made to find the type of music that a certain group of young people liked in a city. Adjoining pie chart shows the findings of this survey. See, in this first question, we will be having a pie chart, and on the basis of that, we will be answering the questions. And further, in the next class, we will be finding the angles to form the pie chart. Okay, so the first question is based on how to read a pie chart. So we have to find out, if 20 people liked classical music, how many young people were surveyed? Now second is, which type of music is liked by maximum number of people? And the third is, if a cassette company were to make 1000 CDs, how many of each type would they make? So here is a pie chart given. So here 4 colors are represented. Each color represents one type of the persons who like a particular kind of music. The first one is semi-classical, that is 20%, classical, that is 10% people like, and folk music 30%, and light music is 40%. So let us calculate the first type. The number of people who like classical music is 10%. This 10% represents 20 people. Now we want what will 100% represent. So this will become 20 upon 10 into 100, that comes to be 200 people. Again I am repeating it. Number of people who like classical music is 10% when you are observing this pie chart. And on the basis of this, they have given the number as 20. So we are calculating how many people were surveyed. So in this way, we are writing 10% of 20, that results to be 20 upon 10 into 100, and I am cancelling the zeros. It comes to be 200 young people were surveyed. Now the next part. From the pie chart, it can be easily observed that the light music is represented by the maximum part of the pie chart, that is 40%. So look here, when you are seeing the pie chart, the maximum portion is 40%, and this is liked by, that is the liking of light music. Hence, from the pie chart, it can be easily observed that the light music is represented by the maximum part of the pie chart, that is 40%. Hence, most of the people like light music. Now coming to the third part. Suppose 1000 CDs have been prepared by a company. We want to find out how many CDs have been prepared for each type as the liking of the persons. Now as given in the pie chart, 10% of 1000 represents 10 upon 100, that is 10% is 10 upon 100, and into total number of CDs formed is 1000. So it results as 10 upon 100 into 1000, that results as 100. Now next type is semi-classical music. Semi-classical music is liked by 20% of persons. So total CDs formed are 1000. So 20 upon 100 into 1000, on cancelling the zeros and multiplying, the result comes to be 200. The third type is folk music. Folk music is liked by 30% of 1000. So 30 upon 100 into 1000 comes to be 300. Now light music is liked by 40% of 1000. So it comes to be 40 upon 100 into 1000. On cancelling the zeros, the result is 400 CDs will be prepared for light music. So as I told you, we are going to discuss some key notes of this chapter, and rest of the questions of exercise 5.2 and 5.3 will be considered in my next class, that is tomorrow. Now the keynotes. Students, these keynotes are very important when you are going to learn this topic. So this topic that we are dealing with is data handling. So data handling deals with the process of collecting data, presenting it and getting the result. Data mostly available to us is an unorganized form that is called raw data. Now this raw data is arranged in the form of groups. Now group data can be presented using histogram. Histogram is a type of bar diagram where the class intervals are shown on the horizontal axis and the heights of the bars shows the frequency of the class interval. Also, there is no gap between the bars as there is no gap between the class intervals. In order to draw meaningful inferences from any data, we need to organize the data systematically. Frequency gives the number of times that a particular entry occurs. Now raw data can be grouped and presented systematically through grouped frequency distribution. Now all these things, when you will be going to the next class, will be taught. Topic will be the same, but it will be little modified and more entries will be there, and these will be taught under the heading statistics. So statistics is the branch, it is the science which deals with the collection, presentation, analysis and interpretation of numerical data. Now observation. Each entry, or you can see the number in the raw data, is called an observation. Now range, the difference between the lowest and the highest observation in a given data is called a range. Now array. Array means arranging the raw data in ascending or descending order of magnitude. Data can also presented using circle graph or pie chart. A circle graph shows the relationship between a whole and its part. There are certain experiments whose outcomes have an equal chance of occurring. A random experiment is one whose outcome cannot be predicted exactly in advance. Outcomes of an experiment are equally likely if each has the same chance of occurring. Frequency, the number of times a particular observation occurs in the given data. Now here, when you are drawing the histogram, we will be forming the class intervals. Now let us just learn this class interval in a little elaborated way. Class interval, a group in which the raw data is condensed. Now there can be certain types. One is the continuous. The upper limit of a class interval coincides with the lower limit of the next class. And discontinuous, the upper limit of the class interval does not coincide with the lower limit of the next class. Now the class limits. Each class is bounded by two figures which are called class limits. Upper limit, the upper value of the class interval, and lower limit, the lower value of the class interval. Now next term is class size or width, the difference between the upper class limit and the lower class limit of a class. And class mark is the mid value of a class interval. So children, hope you people enjoyed. So children, hope you people enjoyed the session, and please note it down and understand it properly, and we will meet tomorrow in our next class and consider rest of the questions. So stay at home and be safe.